this video, we'll go over the equipment that you will use at an adaptive climbing program. This equipment may include a standard climbing harness, a chest harness, a full body harness, and knee pads. A harness is one of our most important pieces of safety gear. Helping an adaptive climber put on a standard harness follows all the same principles as you putting on your climbing harness. The waist belt should sit above the hips and be snug enough to not slide down. The leg loops should also be snug, but not too tight to be restrictive or uncomfortable. All first-time participants will need assistance putting on their harness. This is to make sure they orient and fit the harness correctly. Never let a participant climb without checking their harness fit. Sometimes it can be helpful to demonstrate how to put the harness on if someone wants to do it themselves. So Sydney, we're gonna put our harness on for the first time. If you locate this large waistband, I want you to hold your harness facing this way. Exactly, with this loop on the top, perfect. Now these two smaller loops are your leg loops. So we're gonna find the left leg loop and go ahead and slide your left foot through both the small and the big loop on that side. Looks great. We're gonna do the same with the right side. So locate that small leg loop, place your foot through there, and now pull everything up above your knees. Other participants may need physical help to get their harness on. It is very important to make sure that you ask anyone before touching them and confirm that they want help getting their harness on. They may also prefer to have a friend or family member who came with them assist while you explain or demonstrate the process. It is usually easiest to have a participant sit down to put their harness on. Make sure the harness is not twisted, then slide each leg into the loop and pull the harness up above their knees. Now, you can have them stand up if they're able, pull the harness over their hips, and secure the waist belt snugly around their waist. You may have someone stand in front of a wall to hold on for balance, or have another volunteer provide an arm to assist. If the participant is not able to stand, there are a couple of ways to do it. You can ask their preference as to how they think would work best. Sometimes they'll prefer to weight shift side to side so that you can pull it up one side at a time. Sometimes they'll prefer to do a push-up and have someone pull the waist belt over their hips. So Sydney, what would you prefer?
The push-up.
Okay, so Sydney's gonna do a push-up in her wheelchair, and then is it okay if I pull the harness up while you're doing that? Perfect. I'm gonna pull the waistband up, and you can sit back down. Now we can adjust anything that needs to be adjusted, including making sure the leg loops are pulled up high. Excellent. And tightening up the waist belt so it's snug. Anytime a participant puts a harness on while they're in their wheelchair, you're gonna want to double check that everything looks good from the back. So once they get ready to climb and they come out of their wheelchair, you can do your double checks and make sure that nothing is twisted and they're ready to climb. A chest harness is an important piece of equipment for any climbers who may have difficulty controlling their upper body or have decreased core strength. Critically, a chest harness will prevent someone from flipping upside down if they lean too far back. A chest harness also provides an extra feeling of stability and support for someone with decreased core strength. Climbers with any type of disability can use a chest harness, but you will often find them useful for climbers with spinal cord injuries, spina bifida, and ataxia. There are different styles of chest harnesses, but they all perform the same function. You can trial and error different styles to find one that's comfortable and fits well for the climber you're helping. No matter what style you're using, the chest harness must be snug enough to stay in place while climbing. However, make sure it's not too tight to become uncomfortable or restrict movement or breathing. Once you have the chest harness fitting well, you may or may not need a locking carabiner to attach the tie-in points. Some chest harnesses have a sewn loop that you can thread the rope through. Then tie a figure 8 knot and complete your figure 8 follow through both tie-in points of the standard harness. If you're using a locking carabiner on the chest harness, you can help the climber tie in to both tie-in points on their standard harness first. Then clip the rope into the carabiner on the chest harness and lock it. A full body harness serves the same purpose as a chest harness. It gives a little more stability and security to the climber on the wall and prevents them from tipping back or tipping side to side. It has a similar purpose as a chest harness. However, some people may find a full body harness more comfortable, especially if they have a G-tube, which is a feeding tube in their abdomen, that the regular harness could press against. The downside is that it can be more difficult to get on than simply adding a chest harness to a standard harness. All climbing gyms should have a children's full body harness in their rental gear. This is because small children don't have a well-developed pelvis yet, and they could slip out of a standard harness if they were to flip upside down while climbing. It's extremely important for small children to wear a full body harness for this reason. Every Catalyst chapter will have at least one adult-sized full body harness as well. To put it on, you're going to do it the same way as a regular harness. However, it's going to come up around the shoulders rather than just the waist. So you'll start with putting both feet in the leg loops at the bottom and pulling the harness up above the knees. If the participant is able to help, they can hold on to it, or you may need a second volunteer if they're not able to hold on to that for you. All right, John, you can go ahead and stand up, and we're gonna bring it up and over. You can put your arm through this side and this side. Great, and you can sit back down. You're gonna bring the two tie-in points together and clip a locking carabiner to the harness, and they're ready to climb. Some of these harnesses have an older style of buckle, so you need to make sure to manually double them back. So you'll adjust them to a comfortable position, making sure it's snug but not pinching, and then bring the strap over one extra time. The word danger will tell you if you're not finished. So by threading the buckle over an extra time, you'll cover up the word danger and you're ready to climb. Knee pads are especially important for any climber who has decreased sensation or decreased control of their legs, especially if they're going to be climbing on the wall using only their arms. Their legs may be bumping up against holds and getting scraped or bruised. This is especially important for any climbers that have decreased sensation, meaning they can't feel their legs well. They could get a scrape or a bruise while they're climbing that could turn into a wound that takes a long time to heal. So we need to be especially careful. Knee pads are really easy to put on, and you can explain and show the climber how to put them on before they even get out of their wheelchair. Just put one strap above the knee, one strap below, and make sure they're pretty snug. It's important to check the knee pads as they're climbing because they do tend to slip down. So make sure you're noticing if they're slipping and readjusting as needed while the climber is on the wall. Perfect.